All right, so in this video, I'm going to go over one of your assessments from this week. And this assessment is about models and properties. So remember, models are just pictures that we use to explain different things that occur in the natural world. And properties are different things that we can observe or measure. So in this first table, you'll notice that we have this first column, and these are different models that represent interactions between multiple atoms. These models represent bonds. And so what you guys are going to do is you're going to look at the model, look at the picture, and based on what it's showing you with the electrons, if the electrons are being transferred or if the electrons are being shared, or if the electrons are just in this mobile sea that moves around these positive ions, you guys are going to describe which type of bond is being shown here in the model in the second column. You're going to type in the name of the type of bond that is being shown in the picture. And then this next question says, use the model to explain the forces between the particles. So in this picture, you're just going to describe what's happening in the picture with these electrons. And if the bond formed is going to be a strong bond or a weak bond. And you can determine if it's a strong bond or a weak bond based on the properties that you know of ionic, covalent, and metallic substances. In the next section, you're going to use this data table that lists different compounds and their boiling points, and you're going to write down what pattern you're noticing between ionic and covalent substances. Look at the boiling point data and make some comparisons. Analyze this data and see what patterns you're noticing. Again, this question says, which type of bonds have the strongest forces? Is that going to be ionic bonds or covalent bonds? So use the table to help you answer that question. On the second page, we have a scenario, and at the top it tells you kind of the story behind the scenario. It says, Amy wants to know if the sugar found in honey, milk, sugarcane, and apples are the same. To find this out, she chemically removed the sugar from each food and recorded the properties of the sugar in Table 1. So the properties that she recorded were the density of the sugar, the solubility of the sugar, and the melting point of the sugar. And the question asks, what similarity or differences would you look for in Table 1 to tell you whether any of these foods have the same sugar? Explain why. So you need to answer the question, are any of these foods have the same sugar? And if so, what properties would lead you to believe that they are the same? The second question says, what conclusion could you make based on the pattern that you found in any of the foods? So in other words, do any of the foods have the same sugar? Why or why not? On the final page, you'll see this picture of salt and sugar under a microscope. Here's our salt crystals and here are sugar crystals. And your task is to describe an experiment. So based on what you know about the properties of ionic and covalent compounds, design an experiment that would test if the white crystal is table salt or if it's sugar. So you need to explain what your experiment would be and how the results would tell you which one is salt and which one is sugar. Okay, so we've talked about this in class, and if you need some help, you can go back to the Nearpods from last week, and there should be some ideas on different experiments or tests that you could try from our content from last week. So I hope this video helps to explain what you guys are supposed to be doing on this assignment. If you need help, please send me an email and we'll arrange a time to meet up virtually through Google Meet so we can talk about the different types of bonds and the different properties of bonds. Have a great day.